Shout out to all the fathers doing the best for their families. I see you. Shout out all the fathers trying the hardest to see their children where it might not be that easy. I see you. Yo, come on. There you go, father. I see you putting in them shifts, trying to go harder. You just want the best for family. I see you, father. Even though you didn't agree with her, you be the father. But we still got a long fight in this whole saga. It's been a long time since certain man them seen them data. We don't wanna fight, we just wanna be a part of something we created together. You just want the best for your kids, but the system got you feeling all fed up. Cause you will never be a threat to the ones you love most. But you got injunctions, the judge said you can't see them. And now it's by law that you have to go ghost. Real feelings, heart and soul, wishing the best for our little seedlings. I love my kids, I'll say it with chest, I don't need a reason. We gotta stand for something more, fall for nothing. Life experience is why I preach it. Somewhere in the world, I hear my son calling for me. Please don't make my daughter cry, daddy's gonna make it alright. And it couldn't be more simple than that. I ain't here to bash no one, I'm just kicking some facts. The children are the future, so tell me how you gonna act. Perseverance makes the man, keep your head up, brethren. I feel you, brethren. I see you feeling like the whole world's against you, brethren. Once again the system's failed you and now you're stressing. Was living all together once, now you're sending letters. Damn, it's probably gonna get worse before it gets better. But you gotta get over that shit, man, play checkers. When there's nothing you can do, treat that like a lesson. The fact you woke up today just slept on blessing. And mental health is so important, man, I kid you not. And I just wanna let the fathers know you were not alone. We ain't worried about no false allegations, no further actions, false accusations. But for the love of our flesh and blood, we dare patience. Damn, how did it all come to this? From proud daddy to you can't see him unless you're under supervision. Yeah, that's super shit, man.
Hi, my name is Rui Graça. I am 42 years old. I'm a father of two girls, 20 and 21 years old, and a boy, Santiago, 2 years and a half. So I'm in England 2000. I always been going, coming for work. Never had kept alive in here or any kind of relation. 4 years ago I came in holidays to my mother's house that is living in here in King's Lynn. I met this girl, we started having chats. She needed some help with behavior of the girls and some problems that she had with alcohol. As I had the same kind of problems in the past, I was okay to help. We started a very good relation, very supportive of each other, but we always had big problems with her daughters, drugs, alcohol, etc. Later, a few months after she got pregnant, we had a baby, Santiago. I got big connection with Santiago because it was me and her alone that gave birth to the Santiago, with no midwives, nobody. And from that day I knew that I would keep, due to her problems, I would keep always the care of that boy and the worry on top of that my son. We tried to put order on behavior of the girls. The girls were not, we looked for help, early help, child service. We never had any kind of support. They came to our house, made questions, never did nothing that attitude, like something that you could see that this is gonna change. They just came with questions and those kind of things. They did some disclosure saying what was the problems, but nothing was done, and me and my partner, we decided to go back to Portugal to see if they changed behavior. We went to Portugal, the girls went in there to try Portugal too, the same kind of behavior continues. I ran away. I told my wife, my partner in that time, if that came to continue the same kind of thing what's happening in Portugal, that I would let her, that I would separate. I did it. Things didn't change. Girls always called mother that they would kill themselves, cutting themselves with blades, and so I moved because that wasn't the kind of life that I wanted. Mom did what she should do too. I knew that she needed support. I gave that support, but in the end, the real attitude she didn't have. She came back after me. She was pregnant at that time. Baby born on the 3 December 2019, and mother was having a lot alcohol consumed that time. One day he was less than 1 month old. He was on a chair, push chair, the ones that you take from the car, you put in the floor, and the baby was very nervous that day, always crying, and she kicked, pushing with her feet the baby chair. That with all the problems, stress that we were having the last year, it was the limit for me. I did a big mistake and I slapped her. From that day, my life, it's turned into hell. That time, the girls, because of the behavior, the girls were with their father. He didn't really never worried too much with the things that were happening, the consuming drugs. I'm not talking weed, I'm talking cocaine and other stuff, ecstasy. There was the days that I needed to take her, go pick up in the school. They were all crazy with ecstasy. I need to take to the hospital with the mother. Things like that kind. The father didn't know it, but during that time, I didn't want to live with them, and they were with their father. Always trying to come to mother, telling mother that they would kill themselves, blah blah blah, those kind of things. They wanted to come to the town just to be with the friends and continue their consume of drugs that they couldn't have when they were when they were living with the father. The girls during that time, when I slapped her, I started working in Prince Risborough. I was going the week and coming in the weekend, and during one of those weeks they come visit mother, and they just start with the game. If I go, I kill myself, those kind of things, and the mother let them stay. I needed to stay. I stopped working because I knew it. My son can stay alone with them. With mother, I knew that mother alone with me, she had some kind of control in the alcohol, but with them on the side was different. Mother drink more, just fall asleep, and mother trust them to take care of the baby, and they were in the same situation. I try always from these days. I was having because I slapped her. I had a probation. I didn't know nobody in here or anything about this system, and I started looking for help. If my son wasn't safe, I started telling probation being always very supportive till today. Probation had meetings with people from child service, from early help. Early help did a disclosure saying that everything was okay. Till we get in September, and my son went in the hospital with a broken skull. I didn't been with him for a few days already. Somebody called my mother saying that saw the mother in the hospital crying. Right away I told my mother, for sure it's my son. After 2 days, in the same day I contacted the hospital. The hospital didn't let me go in. Told yes, he was in the hospital, but they couldn't let me go in there. I accomplished what they asked me, that they told they would call me the police. I didn't went. After 2 days appeared a social worker in my house saying that Santiago was to be discharged from the hospital. And they wanted to know what was the last hours when I've been with him. So right away I understood that was a serious injury, and that as me and my father, on the first steps, I would be a perpetrator too, possible perpetrator like mother and his sisters. But my mother never been with Santiago in the last months, so the social worker, when the information that she took that day from my house to their management was that my mother had been with Santiago. She even gave, I don't remember very well now the date, but she even gave a date that was a lie. And the baby was decided to go on foster. So right away we had somebody that he could stay with the family, and he didn't. They put him with the foster. We start with contacts. That was the worst time for me, because I didn't know the system. I always thought that you would go in adoption. That first social worker, she made always aware that was a possibility, because the injury was very serious injury. So I start right away going down. I don't know nobody in this town. I never had any kind of support of them. The only support I had was probation, tried to guide me what I could do. During this time, I was on the beginning of dealing with the solicitors. I tried to impose my things, but as my head was that worry, what's gonna happen, I never pay attention to the solicitor's work. With time going, this should be 26 weeks case. We going already in 1 year and a half. We already passed. It's been big help for me during this case, because it's easy to take care of him. He helped me, like giving food. He doesn't do those things. I don't want. No, he looks like he knows that we are suffering, and he's very kind for us. Serious, he's always passing a hand on us, always.
What helps out?
It's been big help for me, my son. I tell them many times, sometimes we should be holding them, and this boy is holding me. So this we start on the case. Everything was very new for me. Those first nights, it was the first month. I didn't even sleep at nights, because I went through all messages since we start the relation to see the proof, so I could show what was happening inside that house. I gathered photos that I was keeping, videos with lack of hygiene in the house. It was very serious conditions that was in there. During this time, I was accused that I didn't care with the safety of my son, and that is when start coming for me is lies and negligence. Is, for example, during this process, when I was getting worried, I was used to stay every morning with my son, because mom would go work. I tried to go pick him up, and she, in that day we had an argument. She didn't want to let me bring the kid. We called police. I think she called too. I don't remember very well if the police came because of my call, of her call. Police came and didn't let me follow the law as a father. I had 50-50. It was normal for me to pick up my son, and they didn't let me. I asked them if they authorized me to record the conversation, where they eventually come in the end said, or you go home or we arrest you for being a pain in the ass. Yesterday I called to the police, explained what was happening.
Right.
And she told, before she wasn't to go to work. When I called the police, she wasn't to go work. I called the police, I asked the police if they could come with me so I don't come alone. It was me that called the police for help. To come pick up some stuff that I have in there and to give a kiss to my kid, because he was telling no. After that, she told me, yes, there is no problem with the kid. I take the kid to the bus station at 6:15.
Right.
Everything was okay till then.
Right.
Then she told me no. Then we called that lady saying that was better so we don't argue. She didn't tell that I can. I don't have any restriction against my son.
Okay, no, that's fair enough, but obviously at the moment,
I'm
at
here
this
this
time now,
time, no,
she's
but I'm here
obviously
this
changed
hour
her
because we
mind.
arranged this. We arranged to come pick up.
But you just said that she said no afterwards. Even
Yeah,
after
but it's my
arranging it.
right, and I
Yeah, I understand that, but it's
how do
not.
I feel going and like I don't know what they don't like my child. They don't like my child because he's my son. Because they don't like
She's happy for you to come later after she finishes work, just not
No,
right
but
now.
she has the same right to me.
Yeah,
I want my
understand
kids.
that,
No, but I want my
We're
kids.
going round in circles here, aren't we?
Yeah, but
She's
I
just
want my
said that
kids.
she's
Sorry
happy for you
to
come
tell this,
later.
but I want my kids. No, I can't let my kid alone with
Right,
those two
you're
girls.
not having him. You're not having him now. You're having late. You come later.
So
you
this
can
is
see
a
him
crime.
later.
It's
It's not
look,
a crime.
yeah.
There's no crime.
These two kids stay with the ladies.
You've got two choices. You either go home or you end up getting arrested.
Why?
Because you're being a pain in the arse.
That was the words of the police woman. From that day, it's been always very difficult for me because always threats with the police. All the times that I put some worries on the kid, she would threaten me with police. I knew it that since she will threat with police, that night police will come, will pick me up, I will sleep in there. Next day I will come out with case closed. This happened just in the last year 9 times. More, it happened more, but I'm talking just in the last year. We've never been accused of nothing. So we go in the case, I start gathering, on the first hearings I saw that the proofs and things that I wanted to tell in court, they were not being done by the solicitors. So I asked again support to the probation set up some meetings with solicitors, explain the situation that we were having before they come in the case, and the solicitors were just, for example, they always say, very nice to me, calling darling, but those kind of things. But when we go in court, the things that we told and they tell yes, never been in there, like audios from the police never been presented in court. My probation officer wanted to give evidence, they didn't call. For more than 10 times I asked for them I wanted my probation officer, and I had more witness that I even gave the name. They didn't been called. They try always saying that it was different with the family court, that doesn't work like a criminal court, so the things were not working like that. As my knowledge I have, it's at least my probation officer, as I was in a probation, should be in that room. From that day, I feel like it's everything online. It's dealing with a baby's life online. Legal aid gave a certificate for me to travel in court for £1,300, and I never been in court. We go in 1 year and a half, like I repeat, 1 year and a half, and never put my feet on the court. They told, it's not necessary, or it's better don't come, or they try always. So this put me really down. When they decided they did a hearing to see if Santiago was coming out from foster, or if he was keeping in foster. Santiago, on that first hearing, was told that he would keep on foster. For me, it was very strange because my mom was out of the pool of perpetrators and is example of a person, example of a mother. It's what we say is an old school mother. It's a very correct mother. He gives education, not aggressive, very friendly person, very calm person. We proved that in the assessments too. And they told, even with the positive assessment of my mother and the negative assessment for the aunt at that time, it was still negative, because they did to the aunt 2 assessments. They did the negative and the positive to my mother. When in that hearing they tell my son would keep on foster, I asked the solicitors told they couldn't do nothing else. It is what it is, judge decides. I went through internet, asked those guys that we have half an hour free, and I went through the laws. I found that I could appeal. I asked the solicitor, press a bit her, making like her think that I know more than she thinks. And so she told that she would see what she could do, and after a bit she called me saying that we had a hearing for 27 of April. In that hearing, same paperwork went in front of the judge, just with the difference. Aunt had already a special assessment as positive. Before it was negative, then was positive. Baby was decided to come to my mother, and he stays in there. I couldn't be with my mother. My mother been 3 weeks without talk with no family because they didn't put the points what she could do. No, she couldn't. She been completely alone with my son, without speak English. Then we could manage. So I start understanding better. We managed for my brother start contact my mother. I can't go near the house of my mother. I had 7 days to find a house. I wasn't working with a big depression. I have 7 days to find a house. I couldn't find probation helped me with the council, and they put me in a hostel where it's just, I don't know the term that I use, but what I saw in there was crackheads. On the first night my daughter was down, they wanted to rob me and those kind of things. Need to call police. People from the sanctuary house, they've been really nice. They changed me for near of the town, they got me a small flat, but the conditions are not the best. It's dirty. It's always, I give my address in the surgery, for example, and right away they look to me with it because it's a very known address for the problems, drugs, those kind of things. So right away we are qualified since we say the address. From that day, it's been completely, I've been destroyed. No family. I'm in a town where I don't know nobody. I know this has a small community, but I don't have trust with nobody. People knows that something happens to the baby, so people always look, I'm the man, always look like this. During this process, Santiago came to my mother. I lost right away the support that I had, because it was just the only support I had was my family. My brother had a very busy job. He works in London. He doesn't have the time that could spend with family, because it's already me without life, it's already my mother without life. We can't put another person in the family having consequences from our problems. And anyway, it's been a big support for my mother on this, because I can't be with her. As I lost job, I started going down. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I've been really always crying, constantly crying. I tried to change this a bit, to start working again. I start telling them, please, at least, can you change the hours, or I don't mind to stay less one day, but I have my life completely destroyed. I don't have food, I don't have nothing. I can't buy my clothes, I can't pay my bills. At the time I couldn't pay nothing. And they never change. We are going already, the last time I asked was in September, and I'm still with the same kind of contact, the same hours. They don't change. It looks like they are doing just for me. If I don't go on contact, it's like I don't care with my son. That's what they're gonna tell in the end. They don't gonna tell in the paperwork or in the court that I need food, that I need to pay my bills, that I need my commitments. I have another daughters in Portugal. I have a granddaughter that I don't know, I need to spend something to her too. I need to have a proper man's life and a father's life. These people, what I have to say, it looks like they, as I looked for help, they don't want to say, I put, when I'm saying as I looked for help, is because I had all the proofs. For example, mother goes in court and says, oh, he did this, oh, he did that. In the past, he was very aggressive, but nothing come in front of them. And everything I told them, everything. I even told them, I'm not talking nothing that I don't have material proofs to show you. And not even one proof. I have hundreds and hundreds of print screens, audios, videos, nothing being taken in consideration. Just one video of the house. For example, in court, they were more worried the position of the chairs, or where baby could get hurt. Instead, think like, for example, there is still 3 children living in that house, and that house is a mess. It's not hygiene. When I say not hygiene, it's things that I even have ashamed to tell in here, even in front of the camera, because it's really, dirty things. Women's hygiene, and they didn't have education. They now I know that now the kid, that she has a kid with 11 years old, is coming the same way of the sisters. Is with 11 years, is 12 o'clock in the night and he's already in the town. Then he calls grandmother because he's afraid to go home, and this is happening again. She's with the babies, she's with her sons, she's connection with her family, just don't have Santiago and me. For me, don't lose my son to go in adoption or a foster. I accept, move house and go to my mother, and now it's me, without family, without nothing, without no happiness, nothing, no social life, no professional life, my moral is down. Even when you think that something is coming, the way that you see the process, the case, nothing is good. So when something looks like something good is gonna come out from there, you always have that, you can say happy for that, because you have that feeling, in the end it's never what we think. It's always bad for the man. They don't give me a chance to explain. When, for example, social worker, we made, me and probation did formal complaints about the poor assessment, the way that the first social worker was dealing with my mother, and she was put apart. Then came another one that was going to my mother's house at 8 o'clock in the night. We had a situation where it was 10 o'clock in the night. Police appeared in my mother's house asking what was happening, because somebody called the police, said that my mother was in difficulties. At the house, my mother was already with Santiago, sleeping, was having her life, was normal, nothing was happening. So we've been pressured like this. Is like instead they correct their mistake, they want to hide it. Instead they say, look, this father was right, we should pay attention to this man. I don't want I'm not looking for compensations, nothing. I'm just looking for my son. I want to go play football. I want to go shop. I want to go cut his hair with no limits. I want to go pick him in the school. And till today, after 1 year and a half, the case should be 26 weeks, I'm still waiting. Why are you doing this to me? Nobody answered to me that. Nobody comes to me and say, look, you are without your son because of this. No, there is nothing. Even when I see the judgment says that probably me and mother in an argument, we hurt the baby. Not even the judge could find in the hundreds and hundreds of pages of specialists, doctor specialists, neurologists, pediatric, they couldn't find so many things in there saying that it couldn't be an accident, and the judge appear saying that maybe it was an accident, me and mother in an argument. And when there is nothing that even show a bit that possibility is possible, is impossible, there is nothing that's showing that. For example, I can say, mother, I didn't see any proof, and in my links I have more than 100 print screens for the solicitors. Solicitors always told calm down, in the end we can appeal, and judgment came out. I always told the solicitor before judge came out, even I start putting pieces. I knew what was coming, so I knew that they would accuse me of something. They didn't. How can I explain? The solicitors, they are made with them. I told, for example, even before judgment come out, I want to appeal. I want you to know that I want to appeal, because what I listen in there, nothing was good. I've been tortured. It's just lies after lies. Nothing was proof. I want to appeal. And she told, yes, when judgment come, we will deal with that, with the Queen's Counsel and everything. During that time, there was some more things happening with mother and the daughters in the town. I keep giving the updates. They told if I keep doing that, I would compromise or if I go forward with the appeal, I would compromise my relation with my son. I even received advice from the Queen's Counsel. So right away in there, first was the police didn't let me, was some breaks, didn't let me pick up my son, and then Queen's Council say that I'm going to compromise. From in there I stopped right away. Until today, I don't know what to do, where to turn. I don't know where I know this will finish one day, but I feel sorry for my son because he's not having the quality of life that they want. That they say I care. We care with Santiago. We are in here. The most important is Santiago well-being, and they are not worried that Santiago is watching parents since 8 months old till 2 years and a half inside of a room. I can tell you, for example, that I'm in Dad's Matters. First day I went in Dad's Matters, they told the situation like in Romania. In Romania, they wanted to grow population, and they start telling people to have more kids, and then those kids start being abandoned. They went to orphanages, and in orphanages, the kids in Romania, they were always inside of the room, and the kids that had windows in their rooms were more happy, were more, and the ones that were not coming outside, watching the outside, they were not sad. They were sad, and they turn in criminals, those kind of things. They are doing exactly the same. They are putting two parents during almost 2 years inside of a room, and the baby just when I come this room is parents. When my parents are just see in the room. How can I explain it? He connects us to that place. For example, this is a very small town. Sometimes I go in the city, it already happened. I pass for my son. I feel like I don't know the experience, but I feel like maybe, like I robbed something. I start looking around because I feel guilty because my son is in there. I don't know what to do, if I hug, if I'm not. I tell this to them, and they don't change it. They just listen. They say yes, but they don't change. I give you another example is, they authorize me. I asked if I could go cut the hair with my mother. If they authorize me, we go. They told yes, you can go one time, then the next time go mother. No problem. So during that hour and a half, I go with my mother. I met with my mother in the town, alone, no supervisors, no social workers, no monitors from contact center, nothing. And we are free. I feel father in that moment. I go cut the hair, I'm in there with him, it's my mother, it's family. There is no limit. And then I ask, I need to go work. Can you do the same kind of contact on a Friday, for example? And for me to get on track with my life again, and for me to go work Monday at least till Saturday. And I just go, I don't mind to stay less one day, just I need to get on track with my life again, please. And they don't. So there is no point, there is no logic. They let me go cut the hair, let me be 1 hour and a half, and for me to get on track, they don't let. And now they are doing an assessment where they ask how it is my economical life, how it is work, how it is. This is fun because they are the ones cutting my legs, and now they want me to have a proper life for Santiago. How can I have a proper life if I am every Mondays parenting assessment when they want? Because sometimes they don't want it, they just don't appear, not even call. Wednesdays, Santiago in the morning, all morning. Tuesdays, Thursdays I have Dad's Matters. Friday I have Santiago again. What boss is gonna give, what employer is gonna give job like this? I have luck because I have somebody that understands what is happening. There was a time he wasn't understanding, but now he sees my focus on this for so long, and sometimes he gets me some hours, but he can't put somebody just half an hour, 2 hours in the afternoon, another 2 hours in another day, because we work in construction and maintenance property. We need to do a proper job, work full time, and so it's very difficult for me. So as I was telling, during the assessments on when he was to come from foster, there was one negative, and then they did a special something. I don't remember well the name that I told. keep the auntie to see if she could stay with Santiago or not. My mom was accepted right away, but her auntie no. They did a positive assessment to auntie, and the auntie 2 years ago, she has problems with alcohol and drugs. She keeps saying she assumes that she drinks, and I can tell, for example, that I smoked in the past. When I came this town, I didn't know it nobody, and was her sister was selling me the weed that I smoked. The girl drunk with the two daughters in the back of the car. In a corner, she goes in front and she goes inside of her house. He comes out on the newspaper. Everybody knew it in the town. Was big crash. She been with Tag, I think was around 1 year or more, and they did a positive assessment to that person. I don't know where they got. I really don't even know what to tell to the documentary, because everything I look in there is negligence or is corruptive. That is not something that is already negligence. That is something that. So father smoke, mother drink, and the auntie smoke and drink. There is something in here I couldn't find yet where they get with this attitude that they had. Now we're going on. This should be the 26 weeks, 1 year and a half. My mother is going. My mother is tired not of take care of Santiago. My mother is tired because it's 1 year without family. Her brother died, she didn't went to the funeral. My granddaughter born, we didn't see her yet. My mother has another grandsons in Portugal, she can't see them. My sister, all the family start getting a bit tired of this. Because one thing is, okay, son is mine, the consequences are mine. Even if I'm guilty or not, the consequences are mine. But they don't. They are the ones supporting. They are being consequences of that too. My mother didn't deserve this. What they are doing is, for me, it's a crime. Because at least, if she has a special guardianship, she should be allowed to at least go in holidays, go like a foster. I remember I stayed without my son in Christmas, first year that this happened, on Christmas and New Year's, because of the foster went in holidays. And how is possible my mother can't go in holidays, for example? So they don't support this. My mother didn't have any kind in 1 year. I think somebody went in her house twice. There was another social worker on the beginning, he went a few times, but as I told you, was a very disrespectful person. Always asking for toilet and going to my house. My mother alone in there with a man at that hour is not respectful. It's not respectful for my family or for my mother or for me. So where I want to come with this is there are innocent parents that are being affected by this.
Right, so obviously you spoke about your son got a cracked skull.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did that happen?
We don't know yet. They've been since 25 September investigating till the 6th of September. From 25 September 2020 till 6 September 2021, and even in fact they couldn't find a reason.
So when he got put into hospital, when did you find it? Did you find out straight away? Or?
I found somebody. I didn't know it. I tried to contact for a few days. She wasn't answering. Then some friend of my mother called her saying, "What happened with Ruth? That she is in here in the hospital crying." Right away I told my mother, "He's my son." I contacted the hospital. They told me I couldn't go in there. Even like that, I went with my mother. My mother went to the reception. They told me I couldn't. They would call the police if I was going in there. And I was like this till the 25, after 2 days, and till social worker beat on my door, explaining what was happening.
And you said about that obviously when your mom got custody of your son, that you had to move out of your mum's and find somewhere to live. What was the reason you had to move out of your mum's?
Because they told, as I was in pull-up perpetrators, they told I couldn't be near the baby because I could be a danger for him.
And obviously you're from Portugal, right?
Yeah, Portugal.
How long have you been in England?
I came to England since 2000.
2000, it's just you, your mum and your brother over here.
My brothers, they live in here in this town for 10 years almost. I always been in Leeds, I never been in here. My brother came after me and they did the proper life in here. I always been, when I have job, I go in Portugal. When I have job, I'm in here. If I lose my job instead, I ask for benefits. I go try, normally summer I go always in there and I always have small jobs to do. It's not the wages that we have in here, but it's mostly because of the kind of life we can have in here.
Going back and forth. So obviously going through the courts and dealing with the situation of you trying to get contacts to your son, who's been helping you?
Nobody.
Nobody
Really. Yeah, even the contact center, you know, they are the only ones that deal with us, with me and mother. The judge don't deal, social worker don't deal, because they come and then they disappear months. And those people see us every week. So we start getting a connection with them, more or less. They know, they see, more or less. So that people is the one that I go in there, I talk, they make you more comfortable. It doesn't solve nothing. Nothing is solved, but at least you have that support, and probation has been amazing. Probation, I know this is amazing because most of people when are in a probation, they are happy to finish. I was sad because it was almost finished, so they try to find a solution and keep the order open, so they keep supporting to me. And everybody wants to come out of probation. I didn't. I needed to stay because it's my only connection to the court, to the government, to somebody that can beat on the table. And it's really the only support that I had. And now people from the office from sanctuary housing, that they've been very supportive to me too. I'm very calm because of them. Many things happen, and the way that I have my life, it's impossible for somebody to stay shut up. I know there is confidentiality, that I think that is more use for you to shut up and don't. But child services, nothing, zero. Is zero, completely.
Wow, police as well, no.
Police, on the beginning, they were always treating me very bad, and they treat me in a not fair way. They treat me like shit, sorry the word, but is the word, is this one. You can't, they put in the prison and you go inside and then they just don't care. But they realize because the daughters, they are problematic, so they know. And then they see me going one time, two times, it's exactly the same, then they start dealing with me. And they see that I don't do nothing wrong, that they see me passing in they start telling, they even take the hand in the air now. Like for example, like if they know me, I don't like that. I don't have any problem with police, but why I need to pass a car to the police, and they say, I don't need that. And I understand that they are aware already that I'm not what they thought in the beginning, but it's not comfortable because it's police. Yeah. People start, he's cleaning gas to the police, sorry the term, but this is the truth. And I think now they have a different idea. There was a guy came here a few times because of notification from Portugal, and he was on the beginning, first time that he saw me, he was very nasty for me, and that he was amazing, asking how it is my son, how it is the things in there, because they know that that house is very problematic. Yeah. I can give you an example. The oldest daughter, during the case, knowing that mother wants son, they know that mother has a problem with alcohol. They know that mother lost a son. Instead, they've been helping. She put inside a kid that is dealing, he deals heroin. So if he goes in there, for sure he's dealing in there too. We know how these kids are today. He's in there, he deals everywhere. It's kids, it's 17, 18 years old kids. Now 18 now, because before they weren't 18. And that's the kind of thing that how they know. Child service know, they be notified. They gave the update to them. I told who was. They know he was arrested because of that recently. And they keep in there. She keeps with the daughters, and I'm private of my son and my family. We know any reason, and for me it's.
So when was the last time you had contact with your son?
My son was on the last Wednesday, because it was to be Friday too, but there was a bank holiday.
In the contact center?
Yeah, in contact center, yeah.
And obviously I met you through the Fathers of Rights groups.
Sorry?
I said I met you through the Fathers groups on Facebook.
Yeah.
How are the groups on Facebook? How do you find being in them? Knowing that obviously there's a lot more people going through it than...
It hurts a bit, because when you think you are down, you see people that sons die, that sons are burned. I saw things in there that... I know that my son can come. I know that I can stay with my son, but I didn't knew it is reality. For me, this doesn't finish tomorrow when Santiago is, like I told you.
Feels like it's never gonna stop.
This doesn't finish now because I will never stop. So now I'm living in here temporarily because I can't be in my mother's house, in our family house. It's completely different. This is, I call the hole because it's in a place where there are people with addict problems. The clean, it's clean, but it doesn't matter how you clean, this is gonna look always dirty, and it's this kind of hole. And my house, I'm used to very difficult, very different reality. It's nothing as you can have a look is a hole, and that's where they put me in the hole. Being in here or in a prison, I've been in there because of them, so I think maybe it's cleaner inside the prison than in here.
What help do you think dads have going through this situation?
I think they don't have any kind of support. I think they right away on the beginning that is put to place. It's, how can I explain? Father is here with mother, and this start the case right away. Father goes down, and then father needs to come. So, but mother is always in there.
Need to prove themselves.
Yeah, it's. I have the example because mom keeps with the same attitude and still has the other kids. And I'm here. I already proved everything I needed to prove. They tell me yes, I know. Like I told you, they tell you yes, I know it wasn't you, but why I'm still in this? So. Is something in there for me. I think is the power of woman, man. It's not just this happens in another situations in life, but for me it's the thing woman, man, and I think is woman.
So obviously going through this situation, what did it do to your mental health and physical health?
Mental health. This destroyed me. This. I lost 12 kilos. 14. Now I got more too, that's why I'm telling 12. It's mentally, I didn't stop crying. Now I'm crying, but it's not like this. I just want to disappear. Never thought suicidal, because one thing I have in my head is I want my son, and that doesn't let me have suicidal thoughts, because I really want. So if I die, is doing the same that they are doing. So this drain us, this put you, is not tired, is exhaustive. This is and people start looking to you and something strange, something, and then no son, you start looking, change your. I wasn't like this. You see photos, and I wasn't like this. I stay like this. Now with my son, I lost me mentally. I think this. I told on the beginning something. When I start looking, the way that I was staying, crying, when I was changing, I told many times to my probation officer, was the only support I had, that if I'm already, now is the beginning, I'm like this, how will I be in the end? But this, I thought it was 6 months after or something. No, we're going 2 years. How can I'm still without my family? I still without job. I don't want benefits for nothing. I don't need the benefits. Then just let me go work and have my life. If there are tools for them to let me work with my mother, like if we come together to the thing of the hairdresser. If they let me cut the hair of my son 1 hour and a half with my mother, 1 2 times each time, I ask, why don't let me do that 1 time a week for me to show them what I can do? Yeah. No, they don't give you a chance. In my case, I think it's not just because of the thing man and woman. The thing was, I asked for help before things happen. I asked for help, I showed the problem. They knew it, the problem. The problem is that schools many times inform about the girls. For me, was one of the girls. They never liked me put up on boundaries. I put limits, and not to them. It was to mother, what mother wanted. So I want to clean house. They want. It's not about scream, doing noise, sing. No, it's not. It's bad behavior. Drugs. Girls with 13 years old drinking vodka. And then mother don't give 20 pounds, they just beat on mom, they start breaking everything in the house. I've been 6 months pity, that's why I went in Portugal. And that's why they went to the father. Because mother didn't believe it on the beginning. They were spitting, they were calling him piece of shit, or they passed piece of shit. I was telling to mother, oh no, you understand wrong. Till one day mother saw. Mother beat on the youngest daughter. The youngest daughter, first she took 1 or 2 slaps and then start with nerves, punching mom. I saw that, no family, nobody saw, and she didn't have the support of family. I didn't want that. You said, and how can I explain? So I don't have words really. I really sometimes I want to give a description or give a name for the attitude, and I can't because it's unbelievable. It's not normal people that there's that kind of things. They were, for example, in the day that I went to pick up them on the school, I got in the school. They didn't like me. I was working, mother called me. Elisa is, I told her name. The girl is in the school, they call me, she's with ecstasy, I need to go pick it up. I come from the job, left my job, I start losing the job like that, because they disappear, I need to go home because police is in there. Always like this. So I went pick up her in the school, she was jumping in the school, and she came, not even to mother now, she comes, mom's boyfriend, mom. She came to me, sit on my side, hug me, and told me everything, what she had done. She didn't like me. She's in the school, she did that in front of the teacher, she came, I took her we went to the hospital, I always try to show her them. Because, for example, I smoked. But that doesn't mean that I accept my son to smoke, because today I am 40 years old. I know the effects. People say it has less effects than the alcohol, of course. But he has an effect on people's life. The way that you are 20 years old and you are with 40 years old without smoke is different. You start getting more tired, your thoughts, you are more you don't fight so much for the things you want. That has an effect. I don't want my son on that. Wow. It's my choice. And when I went in court, for example, you've been ironic because you smoke and you don't want them to smoke. We are talking a man of 40 years old that knows the effects, that came through the life, with child with 16 years old, smoking in my house, where I pay the house, where I pay the light, where I pay the food. And I don't want that. If I don't, even me, wasn't smoking in the house, it's of course, it's not me, they can't, and I can. No, I know the effects. I don't want that for my son. I don't want my son near that. I know I want my son to be like me, come from a different way. But be exactly like me, but from a cleanest way.
Yeah.
If I can keep my son out of this, I will keep.
Yeah. So how did all this affect your financial situation?
Financial destroyed completely. This is, for example, he comes. I'm on your Socrates before I win like 1,000 more working, and now it's 243 pounds I'm receiving for a month, full month. During a time I was asking help for council teams, but child service make part of the council. So they start knowing, and one thing funny is they stop helping me. So now I'm just with the 243 euro. I can't go work. I really, for example, it's not just the time that they impose to you. You are in the job. Your solicitor sends email. Rui, I need this. And you need to be always on the mobile. You are okay, and then you pick up the mobile, it's solicitor. You think it's 5 minutes, it's 1 hour you are in there. You are at work. Nobody wants that. It's impossible. And this happened during the case many times. It's not just they take you, even when you pick your free time and go work, during that free time, somebody's gonna call you and is your son, so you can just, in the end of the day I answer. No, because many things you need to send now. And it's like they cut your legs. There is no.
Nothing you can do.
If I had some kind of support, other support, if I had more friends, if I had more family near, maybe it would be different. I would say maybe it could be different. But at this moment I feel. You see the house. This is where I pass from 8 till 8. Is all day in here. I go downstairs. I go to the town sometimes, but people know what's happening. Ask me, I can tell. Then people maybe think it's me. It comes to the mental part that maybe people don't think nothing, but you are so sad that you think people are thinking it's you, and you just start.
So who do you blame, or for the situation you're going through? Who do you blame, or who do you think?
I blame. First of all, as I looked for help before, I did everything that they asked. They tell what a father should do. I did everything. First, I tell these child services. The poor assessments that they have in the beginning, the poor assessments even before injury that they did to the girls. I think it's them. But then it's the wife, the woman power. On top of that, you have the woman power when they won't jump off and come with lies. They don't need to prove nothing. They just come in court, they tell blah blah blah, the judge gonna assume that everybody's gonna assume that it's true, and you can come with the proofs in front.
I still don't believe it.
They don't, but they even like that they can't tell you did this. That's why at least maybe if I could look, who you failing there. Maybe I am more a bit relief, I shouldn't do this, or I should do this different. No, I can't find even nothing. 1 year and a half that I can't. And this is one word I tell many times. I need to feel a bit guilty, at least to say, okay, this is, but I don't know why this is happening, and I don't see really any reason.
So obviously, going through the situation you know how draining it is, and how much it plays your mental health. Have you ever thought about suicide?
No, because it's the kind of thing is. I'm doing this for Santiago. Santiago is something that is on me, and if I kill myself, so it's the same than quit now. And I love my life, and maybe I'm a bit coward too, because maybe some points, if I had some courage, maybe when I felt like there was a time I didn't want to wake up. It's not suicide, but when you're sleeping, you don't want to wake up. You want to keep with that, like.
And what do you think needs to change in the legal system?
Need to look both parts exactly the same. Is
equal rights.
Equal, yeah. I think as more experienced social workers, what I learned with this, I had 3, is as more experience they have, more shit they do. And as less experience like this one I have now, they want to do. You see that she want to do. She want to do. She understands. But then it goes to the job. Maybe you can pass manager, but then it's again pung against the. There is a limit in there where you can't. And that persons that are putting the block to us, they don't know us. They don't even deal with us.
So how was your relationship with your son?
That is amazing. My son is very fun, you know. He's starting being like me. He's always, first of all, he's always hugging me. He looks like he knows. And if you read the contacts, what you see is all visits he comes 3-4 times, hug me. He's always around me. He's always papa. He's doing a draw, ask me papa, and start papa. We not understand what he's saying yet, but you know that we have a very big connection. When he's to come, he start crying. My mother says that he is always papa. He goes in front of the photos and start having conversations with my mother. No, papa. No. We don't understand what he's saying, but he said, no, papa. We create very good connection, and knowing that he doesn't forget, even when he lets contact, doesn't forget me, is amazing. But we have. I wanted to could tell more, but inside of a room we are limited to the crayons, to the same toys that were broken already for 20 kids. You are limited to that room, to those toys that you already know. The toys he knows all. But this is real. He knows every toys from the contact center. He even goes to the translator. We have a translator in the contact, because we are Portuguese, we speak a bit Portuguese. They wanted me on the beginning on the contacts to speak with him in English. No, he doesn't speak, he doesn't understand yet. He was 8 months old, and there is no translation the way I treat him, because you treat him, it's not words, it's noises, you know, that you do. There is no translation for that, and how can I explain it? They put that the translator, and he goes to don't want the toys already, gets tired because he already knows, don't want the crayons because it's a routine that he does, and then he starts going for the interpreter, for example, in case something new that he doesn't play, or he goes to the monitor. When he comes to me is to ask for Peppa, because then he likes to see Peppa Pig, so he's always asking for the mobile. You can see that he's getting tired, because on the beginning he was funny, he would go tired, but now you see that he goes in the room. When he gets in there, he stops and look, he doesn't know right away what's gonna do, so because he did everything. He goes in there, what I'm gonna do. Then he starts playing those kind of things, and we start painting, but it's not, you can see that he's tired, that the kid is tired of that. So, and for example, I tell, when it's good time, they let us to come to the park, and they come with us, and I tell her, gonna go to the park, and you see that he wants to come out. I brought a motorcycle for him, I brought a trike for him, and I didn't even play with that with him. Understand? I want to go to the park, I want to have a chance to play with it.
So if your son was watching the documentary today, or he was here, what would you say to him?
I love him, he's my life, I don't have nothing. I didn't have a lot. Before I already had just him, and now he's the only thing. If I lose him, in the end of this, what? They destroy my life. They separate me from her, because they could help us on the beginning. They could help us. So, if I lose my son, what do I have? People, life continues. No. For me, no, because my son, as I told, I wanted him, and the way he came, the way we went in the hospital, the way we go in that room, right away she tells, I go to the toilet when I see he was coming. And I went to the door, just screamed to the nurseries. I came inside and we didn't need nobody. It was me and her. He came right away, even with umbilical to my arms. They cut that in my arms. I washed him and I don't know, since that I have another 2 daughters. I asked them many times sorry. I tell my daughters many times sorry, my friend. Because I never needed to show this kind of, I love them the same way, but they've been always safe. And Santiago is not obsession, I want it. It's not because he's a man, it's the way that he treats me, the way that he feels, he looks, when he knows that when I start, when I'm saying, come, he cleans the thing, he says that he's the door, and it's, I just wanted to, I just wanted, one thing I wanted, a nap, like a nap with him. Let's go sleep and fall asleep together, let's watch a movie. They don't give me that hour, they don't give me nothing, they just taking. It's...
No, why not? Right? Appreciate you letting us come through and record you today as well, sharing your story. Yeah.
And he's not just my son, he's my mother in this situation. My family is all apart. The perpetrators are all together today, is Easter. Everybody together. They are, because we start getting access to all the paperwork. They got access to mine, past, and I have to them. And I repeat, why I'm without my son. Please, somebody can beat on my dad, tell you are without your son because you did this. When I had this problem that they say, for example, they could say, oh, he's a great, I have this problem in the court. They didn't tell me, you can't be a father no more. If I didn't do nothing now, why I'm without my father? Why without my son? Court never told me, oh, you can't be a father. If they told me that, I wouldn't even have him. But why I'm being private of my son? Why I'm being private of my family? Why I'm being private of my country? Why I'm being arrested? Why is police passing and saying goodbye? What the fuck is this? What is this? Where are we? What country is this? And we are foreigners. We have a very different thing. And even now, after 20 years in here, we thought that in here everything is very correct. And then I never imagined. I never imagined the way that this works. Never. I have always had, I so many times in Portugal, sometimes there was polemic things like parents went in Portugal, oh, England stole our son, and I always said, I feel sorry for that, but I always said, oh, maybe you did something, maybe you stayed without your sons, but something you did. Now I'm in the same position, and now I understand them. And as more I go through the groups, as more I see Star News, you know who Star, the girl? Yeah. The boy, I forgot his name, before her in the same week. As more, when they are coming in the news, is exactly what is happening. Nobody listened before.
Oh, listen.
And then I see it's worse when parents been living with sons, mais doesn't understand yet. But and the ones that understand, what does a kid think? Like, why I'm not with my father? Why? Because Mike doesn't think that, because he's very small, he's growing. But the ones with 10 years old, with 11, what is this? Why I'm not seeing my... What they've been mined with mothers on there. Then appears those social workers that help on that. That's what is happening. I give an example. The boy of my ex-partner, he didn't have toys, didn't have didn't play too much. And I start playing football with him. And the kids start coming and wanted to play football. I was already without a mother, and he sent me videos and calling me from the mother's phone, showing the way that he shoot the ball. I already can do like you do it. And he was coming out of that way. He was coming for a good way. Mother during 2 days to the fact finding telling me, Rafael wants to go to see you. Rafael wants to go to your house. I told, no, we are in the courtyard. Are you crazy? He comes to my house. He has an accident. He's with a bicycle or something. And then I'm going to have problems in the court. Are you crazy? And mom, then he went in court. Destroyed me completely. And I show those messages. She getting mad with me. She getting mad because I didn't want the boy. I'm going to tell him, it's you that don't want. He's not my son. I can't bring. We are in the court because of another boy, and you want me to bring your son to my house? Are you crazy or what? And now the boy is already there. Rui. Apart, the boy doesn't speak to me. Before he passed in the town, he comes to me, Rui, missing, even with one of the days. Why I can't speak with you, crying? Now he passed, not even one. So that is not my son. He's not my biological son, but I know where he is, and I've been 2 years with that kid. That is alienation. That is the same. I'm not his father, but it's what's been done to many parents.